Hi everybody, Kelly Nottingham here from the Belly Dance Alchemy podcast. I have some background dancers today. Bruce and Snake, our dogs, are for some reason just pacing back and forth behind me, so I hope that's not distracting to anybody. Hi Bruce and Snake, thank you for participating in today's video. So we're here today on this gorgeous November day at the beginning of the season where we start to talk about one topic in particular that I honestly had some mixed feelings about doing a podcast episode and a video about, but I did anyway. Gratitude. So the podcast episode that went live yesterday is all about gratitude. This video is going to share just a couple of small ideas from that episode just to get you maybe thinking about gratitude in a different way. We talk a lot about gratitude at this time of year because we have a lot of holidays coming up that remind us about gratitude. So for example, yesterday we had Veterans Day here in the US. And so thank you to all of our veterans who are watching this video and to all veteran families who are watching this video. We have Diwali coming up this weekend. We have Hanukkah coming up. We have Yule coming up. We have Christmas coming up. We have Kwanzaa coming up. We have New Year's coming up. So there's lots of focus at this time of year on gratitude, thinking about giving, thinking about sort of that bigger picture of, you know, what can we be happy about? What can we be grateful for? Now, this topic gets a lot of press this time of year, and so I wasn't sure I really wanted to do a whole lot with it because there's already a lot out there. But as I thought about it, I thought, you know, I maybe do have a couple of other things that I would like to throw into the pot, so to speak, on this one. This has been a really tough year. It's been a very tough year. We've had a lot going on around the world, and we still continue to have a lot going on around the world that can make gratitude feel extra challenging this year. And so I wanted to share just a couple of ideas about gratitude, maybe that can help if you're not feeling in a particularly grateful state of mind right now. The first is this conversation around gratitude practice. Now, this is something that you hear a lot of people talk about nowadays, how to set up a gratitude practice and do a gratitude practice, and you have to, you know, write out a journal or stickers or whatever for your gratitude practice. I think that in one sense that's valuable because what I like to say is that you have to do gratitude to be grateful. Gratitude requires some actual effort to make it happen. However, I think that sometimes this focus on gratitude as a practice in and of itself is a little bit off the mark, or maybe it just doesn't go quite far enough. Because yes, it is important to have a mentality of gratitude and to consciously think about it or consciously do gratitude. I talk about this a lot more in the podcast episode. But the goal is not necessarily the gratitude practice in itself. And it's not necessarily just to bring us back into the present moment, even though that can be very valuable. The point of a gratitude practice is to rewire our brains to change the filter of how we view the world, so that we're not viewing the world from a place of lacking or not having enough, that we're instead rewiring that mindset and rewiring all those neural connections in our heads to look for what we do have and to look for things that we can do, to take action, to do gratitude, to make the world a better place, to make our situation better, to help someone else or to help ourselves. So I feel like sometimes this conversation around gratitude practice doesn't quite go far enough because it doesn't end with just getting up every day and saying two things that we're grateful for. Gratitude is really a filter for the way that we can look at the world. So that is thought number one. Thought number 2 that I wanted to share with you is that when we also hear a lot about gratitude practice, I think for a lot of people that maybe are not spiritual or religious, that it is a little bit difficult to figure out what to be grateful to, if that makes sense. We hear a lot of people when they define gratitude talk about a sense of wonder or awe or humility. And so it sort of automatically ties itself in pretty easily to a religious or spiritual background. But the real piece of this is not necessarily religious or spiritual, although it definitely can be. And if that is your direction that you go, then good, that's awesome. But I think the bigger picture of this is the bigger picture of this, that gratitude resets our perspective a little bit so that we can see that we are actually a very small part of a much larger system. Now, that larger system can be God, it can be gods and goddesses, it can be the universe, it can be life, it can be nature, it can be the mathematics that cause the universe to happen. It can be the force. Whatever that bigger picture is that you look to, that's what the gratitude is all about. It's about setting ourselves in perspective in relation to that bigger picture. And it also helps us to understand and set other people also into that, so that it begins to be clear that we're all small pieces in a much larger system, a much larger ecosystem or macrocosm, okay? And it helps us to maybe understand that we're all in this together. It helps to take some of the pressure off of us, I think, sometimes, and some of the focus off of us. Now, these are just 2 tiny little ideas that I go over in a lot more detail in the podcast episode. And I actually talk about a lot of other stuff about how to utilize gratitude in a very different way. I call it gratitude by proxy. So you can listen wherever you get podcasts to the Belly Dance Alchemy podcast. Also, if you want to go back and watch any of these other videos, I have set up a YouTube playlist specifically for all of these videos, and I will link to it below so that if you're bored, you're sitting there one day and you're like, I'm going to watch a couple of videos, you can have lunch with me while you eat and I talk and my dogs run around like crazy in the background. So, one last thing I wanted to share before I leave today. I am getting ready to send out a brand new holiday survival guide, holiday agnostic. So it doesn't matter what holiday you celebrate, if any. At some point over the next couple of months, you're going to be forced into some kind of either virtual or in-person gathering. So this is for you. This holiday survival guide is going to be going out to people on my mailing list. So if you are interested in getting this guide, it's going to be going out next week. You can sign up for the mailing list at bellydancealchemy.org. And I promise I won't spam. So I hope you all have a good rest of your week. Stay safe. And if you have any questions or comments or ideas, or just want to share something that you're grateful for, please comment below. I am grateful for you. So thank you all very much. Talk to you soon.